So 1993, it's the first Pride Trust event, Brockwell Park. There was 50,000 people on the march, and we reckoned about 120,000 people in the festival site itself. That year was a tense one. I mean, it was the first one that we'd done, so it was already tense, but it was also the year of the gay serial killer, whose name I'm not going to mention. You can look him up. And we had a very difficult time because he'd been taunting the police with anonymous messages. And I think he said to the police that he didn't see Pride as being a time of celebration. It was a time to murder again. He'd already killed 5 people by strangulation.
Police searching for the killer of 5 homosexual men in London have been asking for help today at a huge gay rights demonstration.
Police hunting the killer of 5 homosexual men in London have been appealing for help at a big gay rights demonstration in the capital.
Appeals for help were made during this weekend's Gay Pride rally in London, which saw thousands marching through the streets.
Police searching for the killer who's murdered 5 gay men in London believe they've received vital new clues to his identity.
And I remember vividly going into the Pride office. We'd had an office in Cold Harbour Lane, just above Brixton Cycles. And there was Kim DeTestra, who was the chair of Pride, and Bill Walsh. And we had one phone line, and we were trying to organise an event, and it was just ringing off the hook because it was just lots and lots of slightly ignorant, it has to be said, journalists asking questions. This is like the 2 days before. Thinking that this festival and march had been organised in order to protest against the killer. So the police were working with us very closely, we were working closely with them, so that they used the event as an opportunity to try and gather information because they'd had a problem. Not everybody wanted to cooperate with the police. There was always a danger that if you told the police things, you'd end up being the person arrested.
South London. Tim, what progress do the police say they've made in their investigation?
At the moment, they're not saying what progress has been made as from today's events. What has happened today is that during the march, which about 50,000 people took part, this is just a gay pride march. The fact there has been a series of killings is coincidental, but of course the police have used the march to try and get more information.
Really, we're hoping for witnesses. We're hoping that there might be people who knew the victims or who might have been aware of the movements or who might have some information about who they were with. Any information, really, which would help in the investigation of these events.
Detectives at this incident room in West London believe the killer is responsible for a number of calls to police in which he has discussed the attacks, displaying a detailed knowledge of each crime. Today, festival organisers warned men to be careful.
When people are out socialising, if they're going to get together with somebody else, let's be sensible about this. Introduce them to somebody. Just let somebody else know.
This is the highlight of the gay calendar, and the organisers estimate about 50,000 travelled from across the country to celebrate their homosexuality.
We're here, we're queer, get used to it.
But behind the smiles and jollity, there's also the realisation that police believe a serial killer is on the loose. Leaflets were handed out to marchers, appealing for information and urging them to be on their guard. Police believe the killer could be amongst this crowd, trying to blend in with the revellers, but probably picking out his next victim. Undercover detectives have also been mingling with the demonstrators, trying to pick up any clues about how the killer works. From the dozens of calls they've received on the police hotline, they're hopeful that people at the demonstration could have important information in the hunt for the murderer.
It's really frightening to know that you could be rubbing shoulders with someone.
I think in general people are concerned, but I think because we're here in mass, there's none of us are really afraid.
Here is a good chance or a good opportunity for them to pick someone up. But hopefully, with the warnings the police have given, people are sensible, will not go wandering off with people. They've got to have sense.
I think it's very tragic, and I just think people like that are really pathetic. And I hope that they get caught very soon, because it's spoiling a lot of life for gay people who want to go out and maybe feel that they can't meet anybody in case they're going to get strangled or something. I mean, it's hard enough for gay people anyway.
I'm not quite sure what that costume is supposed to be. But as you can see, it was probably the most widely reported Pride event up until that point, for all the wrong reasons.